In today's climate, nothing will make you a more accurate or confident shooter than Crimson Trace laser sighting systems. Get the immediate, decisive advantage of the world's only grip-integrated laser sights today. Shoot better. Stay safer. Crimson Trace.
Today on Tom Gresham's Gun Talk, a terrorist murders Marines in Tennessee and the politicians start spinning. What does it mean to you, and how can you protect yourself and your family? Plus, building a false room for hiding guns and valuables. Join the conversation. Call now, 1-866-TALK-GUN, or just dial Tom Talk Gun. Now, here's Tom.
Well. Welcome to Gun Talk. Whatever shall we talk about today? Oh my goodness. Well, as I told somebody, and of course, if you're brand new here, let me just tell you, welcome. This is Gun Talk. I'm Tom Gresham. We talk about guns and shooting. We're the good guys. We're the good gals. We're the ones you don't actually hear a lot about in the news. We're the 100 million people who own guns and don't commit crimes with them. We're also the 5% of the adult population, newest numbers in, 5% of the adult population in the U.S. that has a carry permit. That seems pretty high, going up. We're like 12, 13 million people have carry permits. And of course, in some states, you don't have to have a permit at all to carry a self-protection firearm so you can take care of yourself and your family, your loved ones, your children, your wife, your husband, your parents, or as in my case, maybe even your grandchildren. Lots of people have analyzed this. A lot of people have looked at it realistically and made the leap, and it is that, to say, okay, I get it. Every story I see, every report I read, every newscast I see, I realize that there are bad people everywhere. It is foolish. This is the thinking. It is foolish. And it's hard to get there. And I give you props, everybody who has got there. It's hard to get there to say, it is foolish for me to continue to pretend this is not the case. There's maybe a psychological pathology involved here. Completely understandable. It's a human thing. I guess you'd call it human nature. People don't like being afraid. I mean, truly afraid. They like to go to movies and all that. They're scary movies, but they don't want to be truly afraid. And so one of the ways that people don't worry about things or try to make sure they're not afraid is they simply pretend that there is no threat, that there is no risk. They literally don't want to think about it. They want to stick their fingers in their ears and go, no, I can't hear you. I don't want to think that there are bad people out there who could hurt me, that will take my children and rape them and then kill them and cut them up and throw them in the lake. That's horrible. I don't want to think about that. So therefore, I choose not to think about that. If I buy into that, if I say, wow, maybe nobody really can take care of us, maybe the police really mostly write reports about things that already happened and they don't stop the crime from happening, which we know is mostly the truth. If I acknowledge that, if I accept that as reality, this is the process going on in their heads without them actually knowing what's going on. If I accept that, then I accept that I'm not completely and utterly safe all the time. I'm not in this lovely, warm bubble that I like to live in. So I like my bubble. And the way I can maintain this imaginary bubble of safety is I simply do not acknowledge that there's a real threat out there. And the way that I do that is I reject everyone who has chosen to take care of herself or himself. I must make fun of you. I must demonize you. I must denigrate you. I must marginalize you, because if I can say you're a kook, you're a nut, you're a screwball, then it's easy for me to reject the kind of thinking that says, you better take care of yourself. What's all that mean as it relates to what happened this week in Chattanooga, Tennessee? 5 service members murdered. You remember me months ago starting to talk about this, maybe more than a year ago. And I said at the time, I said, I know this is going to sound crazy to you. I know how this sounds. Okay? I know how some of you are going to react when I say this. And then I said, I'm moving away from lower capacity handguns to carry toward higher capacity handguns, more ammunition to carry, because in my mind, I see terrorist attacks, more of them. We already have had them. Of course, the thing in Chattanooga, everybody's talking as if this is the first time it's happened. Of course, that's just foolish. Or maybe it's sticking your fingers in your ears and going, no, we really don't have terrorism here. No, I don't want to think about that. No, you can't make me think about this. Except for the person who was beheaded in Oklahoma City, or Oklahoma, rather. Except, of course, 2 shooters at Fort Hood, shooter at the Navy Yard, terrorists throughout the country killing people. It's going to happen more and more. It's going to happen in other locations. And that's one of the things I want to talk about with you today. And by the way, I'd like for you to join me if you have some thoughts on this. 866-TALK-GUN. 866-TALK-GUN. One of the things I want to talk to you about is I think we are all missing something. First of all, it's the first time I've ever heard the media talk about getting rid of gun-free zones. That's interesting. But you'll notice that they only talk about it in terms of, well, of course, the people who should be able to carry in gun-free zones are those wearing uniforms. Same kind of thinking that says only the cops should have guns, right? So I would suggest that perhaps we make a mistake when we buy in and say, yes, the people in the military at these recruiting stations should be able to have guns. I think we are maybe boxing ourselves in. There's an opportunity here, but we just got to get on board and get with this thing. 866-TALK-GUN. What are your thoughts? How did you react? Has it changed your behavior? 866-TALK-GUN. If you're looking for a safe and trusted way to sell your firearms, look no further than Dury's Gun Shop. I trusted them to sell my dad's collection. They built their business for over 50 years on honesty and customer service. Dury's Guns will buy any size collection or estate, none too big or too small. Selling your firearms to Dury's Guns is easy. Go with the pros. I trust Dury's Guns. DurysGuns.com.
The Ruger American Rimfire Rifle combines features of the Ruger American Rifle and innovations of the 1022 Rimfire Rifle to appeal to all bolt-action enthusiasts. It features a modular stock system that provides comb height options for scope or iron sight use, a power bedding integral bedding block system for outstanding accuracy, a Ruger Marksman adjustable trigger, and a 1022 style rotary magazine for reliable feeding. The Ruger American Rimfire Rifle, another rugged, reliable firearm from Ruger.
Hi, I'm Tom Gresham. For more than 40 years, I've been watching an environmental disaster in my backyard, and it actually impacts all sportsmen in America. I'm talking about the massive loss of land on the Louisiana coastline. The U.S. Geological Survey said the swamps and marshes of coastal Louisiana are among the nation's most fragile and valuable wetlands. That land is disappearing. The Mississippi River Delta hosts as many as 10 million ducks and geese every winter. These are birds which migrate northward through the states, all the way to Canada. The wetlands of the Delta support some of America's best fresh and saltwater fishing. And here's the deal. The wetlands of the Mississippi River Delta are disappearing at a rate of 1 football field every hour. 1 football field every hour. Gone. We can reconnect the river with its wetlands and restore the Delta, but we need your help. Please visit vanishingparadise.org. That's vanishingparadise.org.
Attacks happen every day. How will you react? See real people put into real-life criminal attack situations on First Person Defender. Discover what works and what doesn't. Kidnapping, ATM robbery, home invasion, and other attacks. Learn how to save your life and the lives of your family. Get the entire first season on DVD at shopguntalk.com. Get prepared. Shopguntalk.com.
Experts agree that the low-range variable rifle scope is best for most situations. Now, Trijicon offers a stunning 1-to-6 power variable in the AccuPoint line. Featuring a battery-free illuminated reticle, superior glass clarity, and rugged construction, it's the one scope you need for hunting and competition. Long eye relief, aircraft-grade aluminum housing, manual brightness override. See the 1-to-6 power AccuPoint at Trijicon.com. Trijicon.com.
Right back with you, Tom Gresham. By the way, if you want to join us over on Twitter, I'm at GunTalk there. Of course, you can shoot me an email, tom@guntalk.com. We got a lot of things going on. We're giving away stuff. The Nosler giveaway is still underway. One of the coolest prizes we've ever had here. The grand prize winner is going to win a Nosler Model 48 Patriot rifle chambered in the 28 Nosler Monster Magnum 7mm cartridge. 5 boxes of that ammo, a Blue Pole VX3 scope. Looks like retail value is about $2,600. All you got to do is go to guntalk.com/win, guntalk.com/win, WIN. Enter for a chance. We're going to give that away at the end of the month. By the way, Gun Dealio, of course, is out. We had a cool offer this past week. If you had Gun Dealio on your phone when you go into the store, you got the notification. By the way, we are fixing... and we appreciate the debugging you guys are doing, helping us out. We can't find everything when we first bring it out, where it's not going to be dinging you every time you go into a gun store. We're getting that worked out, so hang in there. But yeah, we had $75 off Remington 1911 pistol. Also, there was a cool code. It's still in there right now, actually. If you look under Brownells for free shipping from Brownells, that's always a good thing. They've got the promo code there. To get Gun Dealio, you just go, you just go to gundealio.com, GUNDEALIO, like deal EO. You know, you're going to get the deals on the guns. We call it Trigger the Deals. New seasons of Gun Talk and Guns and Gear are out on Pursuit. You can check those out, and then you can also look at those shows on our YouTube channel. Just look for Gun Talk Media on YouTube. Question for you, question on the floor. Have you given serious thought to the possibility, the prospect, and I hate the whole lone wolf idea. I don't care if it's one person, 3 people, or whatever it is, of any terrorist attacking someplace where you are. Have you given any thought to that? What would you do? How would you handle it? What's your plan? I was asking this question this week of people. I said, here's my question. If you don't carry, then what is your plan? Got to have a plan. I mean, yes, there are ways you could have a plan not carrying, but boy, carrying sure gives you some other options. And why in the world would we think that this is going to be, or even has been, limited to military installations? There's lots of talk about, well, we have to take down the gun-free zone signs at military installations. How about everywhere? How about everywhere? Do you think this is not going to happen at a city council meeting, or at a mall, or at a church, or in a park, or anywhere? It has, and it is, and it will continue to. We're 25 years into what's at least a 100-year war. If you don't acknowledge it, you can't prepare for it. You cannot react accordingly. Doesn't mean you got to be crazy about it. You don't have to walk around with your body armor on and all the rest of it, but you got to have a plan. You got to live in, condition yellow at least, get out of white so that you're at least aware of your surroundings. You know what's going on. I mentioned switching to a little bit higher capacity firearm. I don't know what it's going to take. I don't know how many of them there will be. I don't know what the situation is going to be, but I know that if you said, okay, in 10 seconds, you're going into a fight with an unknown number of people and you don't know how long it's going to last, and here's a gun that has 7 rounds and here's a gun that has 17 rounds, which one would you like to pick up? Yeah, me too. Line 3, Mike's with us out of Illinois. Hello, Mike. You're on Gun Talk.
Hi, Tom. So I'm interested in getting some firearm insurance, defensive insurance. And one of my issues is none of the companies that offer this offer any kind of membership or insurance or coverage if you do something before you use the firearm. So if I defend my life with my hand or with a knife, they won't cover that unless I pull the firearm and actually use that. And that's confusing to me because most of them also offer training or suggest you get training before the firearm. So what are your thoughts on that?
I got to tell you, I haven't even thought about it. I haven't even looked into it. I'm going to check with a couple of the outfits that I know. They just say no. Now, what happens if you end up using because, as you know, these are policies for when you use your concealed carry gun or your firearm self-defense. Right. So but you're saying, okay, I want insurance for using my firearm, but I also want it to cover other stuff, even though that's not what I'm buying.
And these companies offer self-defense DVDs about what to do before you get the firearm defensively, but they won't cover if you actually do something.
Well, I don't know which companies you're talking about. Who are you talking about?
Well, I'm talking about USCCA in particular because they offer something. They have a partnership with Target Focus Training, which is it's literally called Before the Firearm, except USCCA specifically said, I talked to their customer service, and they specifically say it only covers defensive use of the firearm. Okay, so what do I do when I'm still in jail for the same thing? I defended myself and my family, but I had a baseball bat, or I had a knife, or I used my bare hands.
Mike, have you talked to anybody else, or is that the only company you've talked to?
Well, I don't want to name names because I've called all the major ones, including possibly sponsors, and I've gotten a no every time.
Okay, well, and you understand, they don't put it out there that we're covering you for self-defense. They put it out there, we're covering you for the use of a firearm in self-defense. Right. If you want other coverage, then you buy other coverage. And that's not the business that they're in. I understand that. If they say, look, that's not what we do, there are other companies that will insure you. Have you talked to your homeowner's policy about getting a rider or an umbrella policy or anything like that?
And I agree. However, if you advertise training that has to do with defensive use without the firearm, and you sell that as a product, and then you don't actually cover it, that seems a little disingenuous.
Well, see, I disagree with you. I think if you say, okay, we're going to tell you some ways where you could possibly not have to use your firearm, which would be a good thing. That's a good thing. That's training. That's awareness. That's all the rest of it. The insurance that's being offered by whatever company is a product. It's a product designed to cover a particular thing, like all insurance. That's like saying, well, I want a policy that covers wind, but I'm mad at you because you don't cover floods. We didn't buy flood insurance. That's not what we do. So you're saying, well, gee, if you're going to teach me to do this stuff, then you are obligated to insure me against that. That's two different things, and I'm just not seeing it that way. My suggestion to you is this. Call the people who have your homeowner's insurance. See if you can get yourself an umbrella policy. See if you can get it written in that it covers self-defense. Work that angle. Go to somebody who offers it. If these guys don't offer it, you go somewhere else. It's fairly simple there. Ray is on line 2, Las Vegas, Nevada. Hey, Ray.
Hey, Tom. I just want to shed some light on that last call. I'm insured. My wife and I are insured through CCW Safe, and they will carry you from using kick, punch, bite, scratch, stab, baseball bat, all the way up to gun. So the last gentleman you just got off the phone with, I'd suggest him checking out CCW Safe. Good price. They're covered in 50 states. I do not work for them, but they'll cover his concerns and more.
Okay. Well, and that was my point, is that, there are a lot of different companies out there, and if the company you're talking to doesn't offer what you want, you're not going to make them offer another product. This is like saying, yes, Chevrolet, I know you don't make a Suburban that's a convertible, but I want you to make it for me anyway. No, you want that product, you go somewhere else. So, Ray, I appreciate the information. Keep looking around. There are a lot of companies now that offer various types of insurance for self-defense. And it really, really behooves you to pay attention to the policy, to read it, to ask questions, as it does with all insurance policies. So, there you go. Toward that end, of course, your obvious best move is to not ever have to use it. But if you have to use it, then, insurance is good. I think it's a smart move. It's part of your total package plan. I hear people talk about the aftermath, the legal aspects of it, as though, well, for some of it actually is a reason to not carry. Well, I don't want to have to go into the legal system and all that. We call that worrying about problem number 2. Problem number 1 is that in 10 seconds, you or somebody in your family is going to be dead. You really, really need to deal with problem number 1 and save the worry about problem number 2 until you've dealt with problem number 1, which is there's a guy here or a gal here or somebody here who means to do you harm. Take care of that. Your preparations for this, frankly, the training you get, the continuing training, recurrent training, the practice you do, help you take care of problem number 2, because what that does is it helps you to do it right. If you screw it up, then don't expect somebody to come in here and clean up your mess. If you have a firearm either in your home, in your car, your truck, on your belt, you have an obligation to understand the law, to know how to use it correctly, to know when you can, when you can't, to exercise judgment, to do all of these things under pressure. Gee, that would require you getting training, wouldn't it? Oh my goodness, oh my goodness. 866-TALK-GUN, that'll get you in here. 866-TALK-GUN.
Covering all aspects of gun ownership every week on this fine radio station. You're listening to Gun Talk with Tom Gresham.
All right, welcome back to Gun Talk. I'm Tom Gresham. You can get a line in here. Join us right now. 866-TALK-GUN. Easier if you just dial 1-TOM-TALK-GUN. You can shoot me an email, tom@guntalk.com. We're talking about, of course, the murders of the 5 service members in Chattanooga, Tennessee, by an Islamic terrorist. Make no mistake about it. This was Islamic terrorism, okay? I don't care if he's connected to somebody. I don't care if he decided to do it himself. I don't care what his self-radicalization process was. I love when people say, well, what was his motive? We just don't understand what his motive is yet. You don't? Really? His motive was to kill people. Pretty simple, really. And point 2, I don't care what his motive is. I can't fix geopolitics. I can't do anything about a worldwide Islamic jihad. What can I deal with? What are the things that I can do? I can help, perhaps, maybe, sorta, if I'm lucky, control what happens in my immediate vicinity. I can react to a bad guy, shooting a cop, shooting another person, killing other people, shooting up a school, shooting up a school bus, or trying to kill me. And I don't care, understand this please, I don't care if that person is motivated by Islamic radicalism or wants to steal my wallet, or is just crazy nuts on PCP, I don't care. The action of that person is the same regardless of the motive. My reaction must be the same regardless of the motive. Sometimes you have to eliminate the big picture to bring it down to, okay, forget all of that stuff about, gee, how can we prevent it? You can't. I cannot help you with how do you prevent these. I can absolutely tell you how you stop them once they start. How do you stop them? Somebody with a gun shows up. Now, you can start the stopwatch of death. By the way, you could do an internet search for stopwatch of death. And a person's going to die every 10, 15, 20 seconds during the stopwatch of death. Now, the question is for you, are you okay waiting the 5 or 10 minutes until somebody with a uniform shows up? Is it important to you what kind of clothes the person wears? Or would you just like somebody on the scene to stop this mayhem and murdering? That would be the lady over there who's shopping, who pulls a gun out of her purse and shoots this SOB. That would be the grandmother over there who pulls a gun out of an ankle holster or a belly band and shoots the SOB. That would be the store clerk. That would be the assistant principal. That would be you. That would be me. That's it. It's really a fairly simple thing. Doesn't mean it's easy, which brings us to our next call. Line 3. Jerry's with us out of Shreveport, Louisiana. Jerry, you're on Gun Talk.
Hi, Tom. First of all, let me say I'm very pro-Second Amendment, and I'm pro-concealed carry, even though I don't carry myself. But I just wanted to pose a scenario to you I've often wondered about. Say you're in some public venue, a church or a theater or some other public gathering, and you're suddenly confronted with either a lone wolf shooter or one of these organized jihad-type shootings. And unbeknownst to you, there are a bunch of guys in the audience who are concealed carry. And each of them rises and draws and begins firing. And suddenly you don't know who's friend and who's foe. I can see this thing quickly degenerating into a turkey shoot, and especially when the SWAT team arrives and they walk in and see 15 guys holding guns. How do you confront a situation like this?
It's a very good question, and frankly, I get it all the time. How do you know who the good guy is if everybody jumps up? It's like a scene out of a Mel Brooks movie or something. First of all, to my knowledge, it hasn't happened. Secondly, I think it's really, really unlikely that it would happen. Just the nature of the odds. Part of that would be training. I would hope that people actually really get training beyond a concealed carry permit class, because that's as good as it is, and it's okay, and it's variable. It's not really good training in most. How many concealed carry classes do you have to move and shoot and get on the ground and find cover and shoot from behind cover? Not very many. Well, that would be like a bare minimum for me, a really good class. And so you should have talked through that. But to your point, how would you know? I don't know. I hope I don't find myself in that situation. I think it's, you've heard me say before, we tend, all of us, we tend to worry about the wrong things. As far as the cops arriving, here's the deal. Chances are it will be over before the cops get there. And part of your training should be, what do you do when you're waiting for the cops? Whether it's you say you're getting robbed somewhere, shoot the bad guy. Well, you don't want to be the guy who's standing there with a gun in your hand when the cops roll up and they've just heard somebody got shot. That's a pretty standard thing that's talked about in concealed carry classes. It should be. So there are ways you avoid getting shot by the police. And understand, when they roll up, they're nervous, they're scared, they've been told somebody's gotten shot, there's shootings going on, so you deal with that. When you see them come in, you get rid of your gun and do what they say. Get on the ground, hold your hands up, do whatever you do. You're going to get handcuffed. You're going to get, whatever. That's, as I said, problem number 2, maybe problem number 3 at this point. It's a good question. I think training helps. I also think, honestly, I'm not sure that it's something that we really need to be worried about. I just don't see that happen right now. All right, Jerry, don't go anywhere. Jerry in Spokane, we're going to get to you. And we'll also get to, you, if you call in. 866-TALK-GUN gets you in here. I'm sure you have thought about this. I'm sure this week you've done the what if. What would I do if? And also you've heard from other people you know who says, no, carrying a gun, that's crazy. What would you do if? Do you really think you could? Share your thoughts. 866-TALK-GUN.
At Double Tap Ammunition, we hand inspect every round that we make, and we use only the best components to give you the best ammunition on the market. Try us out at www.doubletapammo.com and use the promo code GUNTALK for 10% off your order.
You got your carry permit, and that's good. But you could use more training. Get the DVDs, which have what you need. Springfield Armory presents Concealed Carry 1 and Concealed Carry 2 with Battle Group. Learn specific concealed carry skills from Top Gun fighting trainers. Get trained. Be prepared. This really is life and death. ShopGunTalk.com. That's ShopGunTalk.com.
The Smith & Wesson Bodyguards. Carry more comfortably, walk more confidently. When it comes to personal protection, nothing beats a Bodyguard. Choose the lightweight, compact, and concealable Bodyguard 380 pistol or the Bodyguard 38 revolver, both with a built-in laser sight. The Smith & Wesson Bodyguards. Carry more comfortably, walk more confidently.
You're at a gun store and your phone tells you about hot deals. Want to know about special offers? No problem when you have Gun Dealio, the free app for your smartphone. Gun Dealio delivers the latest deals on guns, ammo, and extras direct to your phone. Don't overpay for your shooting gear. Get Gun Dealio. It's free at the App Store and Google Play. Trigger the deals with Gun Dealio. GunDealio.com.
Accurate, powerful, consistent. At Double Tap Ammunition, we offer 364 loads in 83 calibers that give you exactly what you've been looking for. Try us out at www.doubletapammo.com and use the promo code GUNTALK for 10% off your order.
All right, back with you here. This is an interesting case. Federal judge in California, of course, denies a free speech case here. Well, it's interesting. The state of California has a ban on handgun-related speech by licensed gun dealers. Probably violates their First Amendment rights. And the federal judge said, yep, that probably violates their First Amendment rights, and probably they're going to win in this case. But I'm not going to issue an injunction to stop the state from enforcing it. It's California Penal Code 26820. It was enacted in 1923. Here's the deal. It prevents gun stores from displaying any, quote, handgun or imitation handgun or placard advertising the sale or other transfer thereof anywhere that can be seen outside the store. So you can't have a sign if you got a gun store that has a picture of a handgun on it that people can see from outside the store. Well, clearly it's a free speech issue. And the judge, Judge Nunley, he says, well, the state doesn't meet its burden of showing that this is not a violation of First Amendment. And the state's probably going to lose. But I'm not going to stop the state from enforcing this. We're going to let it go ahead and go to trial. Now, one of the comments that was interesting from one of the attorneys on the gun store's side said, well, you know, if this were a speech case about abortion providers rather than gun dealers, I doubt very seriously that the court would have allowed the law to stand while it was being litigated. For that matter, it's hard to believe that, or imagine that Attorney General Harris would have bothered defending it. So, it's California. What are you going to do? 866-TALK-GUN. Line 3 first, John, Northeast Arkansas. Hey, John, you're on Gun Talk.
Yes, Tom. You had a caller a few moments ago who expressed a concern that multiple good guys would shoot each other in trying to stop the bad guy. And, you know, somehow ignorant citizens around the world manage to be able to tell a good guy from a bad guy. And I can come up with a great example that highlights that. We might all remember the Stockton McDonald's shooting back in the 80s, where some guy went into a McDonald's, killed a bunch of people in California.
Right.
At the same time that happened, literally the same week, 4 Palestinian warriors in the heart of downtown Jerusalem, an area packed with pedestrians, jumped out of a car with fully automatic real assault rifles and real hand grenades and started spraying and tossing. I think our death toll was 2 citizens, and those 4 were all brought down, killed, injured, or captured by passersby who somehow managed to stop the carnage without shooting each other. And I submit that if an 18-year-old Israeli kid can tell the difference, so can just about anybody in the U.S. of A.
That's a good point, John. You know, we've had literally millions of self-defense gun uses in this country. We actually have millions of them a year. Most of the time, nobody has to pull the trigger. I don't know. Now, I'm not saying that it hasn't happened because they never say never, but I don't know of anywhere we have multiple good guys who ended up shooting each other. As you say, somehow we kind of figure it out. Just seems to work. I appreciate the call. Jerry's on 2 in Spokane, Washington. Jerry, you looking for a gun?
Yes, I am. I'm going to definitely buy a 9mm and AR.
Okay.
We shoot steel plates anywhere from 25 to 50 yards. And I don't really care to go 223 or 5.56 or anything. But one I tried out the other day, it's a simple rollback. You know, you got a bang back and a slam forward, and it's you just can't come to target real quick. You know what kind I'm talking about there, I'm sure.
Well, now, so you're just looking for an AR and 9mm? You know that Stag has a dedicated one. It's not a conversion, but it's actually just a dedicated 9mm. It's pretty sweet. We've shot that one.
I have never shot that one. Stag, you say?
Yeah.
Stag Arms?
Stag, yeah. It's Stag Arms. It's dedicated. It's not one of these conversions that goes to 223 and rebarrel it or something. I mean, it was made from the ground up as a 9.
Okay. Now, is that a gas operated or is it a simple blowback system or what?
I think it's a direct impingement. It's not a piston gun. I think it's a direct impingement if I remember right, but I haven't looked it up, so I'm a little sketchy on that one. But you could check the Stag website and take a look at that. But yeah, it is certainly available. And nice pistol. I mean, not pistol. Nice rifle. I say I'm looking at 9mm. It's a 9mm semi-auto firearm rifle. Okay, tell you what, Fletch, don't go anywhere. I'm going to get to you in just a second. We also have room to get everybody else in. If you give me a caller right now, 866-TALK-GUN. Also coming up, let's see here. Let me make sure. Yes, in about 15 minutes, we'll have Larry Pratt from Gun Owners of America will be with us. So looking forward to that. A little bit later on in the show, we're going to be talking to a guy who, I love this. His business is building secret rooms in houses, secret little hideaway places where you could store guns, valuables, maybe even have your safe room in your house. We're going to talk about how he does it, what's involved. There's some optical illusions that are necessary sometimes to make it not obvious that there's a room or a hideaway place back in there. There's probably nobody that owns very many guns that hasn't thought that might be a good idea. even if it's just a false wall in the back of a closet. Who knows? We'll get to that. 866-TALK-GUN will get you in here. I'm Tom Gresham. This is Gun Talk. All right, back with you. 866-TALK-GUN. Get you in here on Gun Talk. Fletch is with us on line 1 out of Oregon. Hello, Fletch. You're on Gun Talk.
How you doing, Tom? First of all, I want to tell you got a fantastic show. And next, I want to tell you about your phone number. If you don't do Talk Guns, just don't do Gun Talk on the telephone. Do Talk Guns.
Yes, what happens?
Gun Talk, you're going to get something else.
You get that porn number?
Yeah, I went and put Gun Talk in there, and it's just a different thing.
It's a different kind of obsession. Yeah, don't go there.
If you've tried that phone number, you'll be amazed.
Don't do that. How can I help
Tom,
you?
I'm a retired highway patrolman out of California. I was retired in '89, and I had my ID card, and I could carry concealed any place in many of the states. Well, about a year and a half ago, our wonderful California state changed the rules. So my card was no longer available. I could not carry concealed in California at all, or I'd be breaking the law. So I had to go through the hoops. They sent me a bunch of paperwork I had to fill out, and I had to go to the local sheriff's office here to have him verify who I was, what I was doing, showing my identification and everything else. And he says, "Well, crap, you're legal here in this state." I said, "Well, I'm not legal in my own state." They passed a law that anybody retired after 1982 had to get a new to concealed carry ID card, and it's only good for 5 years.
Because you've got a national law. It's H.R. 218 is the national law that says that retired police officers can carry. So, I don't know if you're working under that, but then it doesn't surprise me that California would do something weird like that. But yeah, there is a provision in federal law. It's called H.R. 218, and it allows retired police officers to be able to carry nationwide. But there are some requirements there about requalifying and such. You might just look into that. H.R. 218. Let me get to Steve on line 3 out of Houston, Texas. Hey, Steve, you're up.
Thank you. I was calling today to get your recommendation. I was thinking of getting a handgun for kind of home protection, but also for the ability to conceal and carry as well. And I was thinking about an automatic, a 45 automatic. Is that practical? Versus a 9mm
okay. All right, Steve. Let me stop you here, Steve. That's like calling somebody and saying, "Look, I'm thinking about getting a car to drive to work with. Is a truck better or is a subcompact better? It all depends. It all depends." So here's wait. Here's where my suggestion for you is this. From your question, I'm sensing that you don't have a lot of background with firearms, and I'm going to suggest that you go take some instruction from somebody in the Houston area. Have that person or that range. They'll have guns you can rent. Try out the various guns. Try a 9mm, try a 45, try different types of guns, different sizes of guns. Go ahead and take your concealed carry class. In Texas, it's called a concealed handgun class. Take that class. You'll learn a lot in there. Don't buy something until you've had some experience, because right now you don't know what to buy. Because, look, what's right for me is not necessarily right for you. The gun that fits my hand may not fit your hand. I may be perfectly happy with the recoil of a 45, and you may say that's too much and you'd rather have a 9. There's really no way to know that unless you go out and get some experience. So go to a range where you can rent guns and tell them, "Look, I'd like to get an hour or two with an instructor, a little one-on-one time, and then take the concealed carry class." Then you're going to find out about the laws, about the liabilities, about what you can and can't do. And you'll probably learn some things about safe storage of firearms in your home. All these are good things. This is not a simple subject. A lot of people go into it thinking, "Oh, I'll just get a gun and I'm good to go." A gun is not a magic talisman that makes evil go away. It's simply one of the tools you have. You're going to have a lot of tools, a awareness being one of those. We'll talk a little bit more about that when we come back. Tell you what, coming up, Larry Pratt from Gun Owners of America right here on Gun Talk.